Hello there, everybody. We're just about to get started. I'm going to go ahead and just make a couple announcements before we do introductions. And just wanted to remind everybody that please mute your microphones while the presentation is going on. We will open up sometime at the end for questions if you have questions. And the Q&A is also open if you want to type in any questions during the presentation. And usually the easiest way to find the Q&A is if you don't have a button on the bottom of your screen, if you just click the More button, you should be able to find the Q&A there. And we will just go through those questions at the end. My name is Erin Enyart. I'm the director of the Autism Society of Iowa, and I'm really glad you all could join us today for our Lunch and Learn on Proof Positive. And we've got two speakers here today from Balance Autism. And the first speaker is Taylor Aukes. Taylor is the Adult Community Services Director at Balance Autism. He has been with Balance Autism for 7 years. Taylor has provided oversight to the Smart Living program at Balance Autism, focusing on the development of processes and policies to ensure compliance with state regulations, as well as establishing a best practice for providing the highest quality of care for the individuals they serve. He also provides oversight to Balance Autism's HCBS homes. As a member of Proof Positive's Autism Wellbeing Alliance, he has worked to integrate the skills of happiness and positive psychology into the Smart Living program. And then we're also joined by Hannah Moeller. Hannah is the ACS Community Employment Director at Balance Autism and has been with Balance Autism for 4 years. Hannah oversees the supportive employment program within Balance Autism. She works to connect with employers in our community to establish competitive and meaningful employment opportunities for the individuals we serve. She also is passionate about connecting with local school districts to support transition-aged students as they graduate and exit from school into adulthood. As a member of the Positive's Autism Wellbeing Alliance, she has worked to teach and integrate the skills and importance of happiness, well-being, and positive psychology into the supported employment program. So thank you, Taylor and Hannah, and we will turn it over to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Erin. So like she said, my name is Taylor, one of the community services directors here at Balance Autism. And with me is,
Hi, I'm Hannah Moeller, and I am the Supportive Employment Director for Balance Autism.
so today, Hannah and I will be going through talking about a company called Proof Positive. So who is Proof Positive? They are a nonprofit, kind of really they're located all over the United States. Really their home base is in New Jersey. It was a nonprofit started by two parents who just wanted to have the best for their son. And really, what they do as a nonprofit is they embrace the science of positive psychology with an emphasis on autism. Kind of their slogan is, or their vision is dreaming and imagining a world where well-being wins. They believe the autism community deserves to flourish, and they expand access to resources to learn and practice the skills of well-being. They work to empower individuals to enhance well-being in their individual communities, and they advance the research at the intersection of positive psychology and autism intervention. And so, quite simply, their mission is to spread the science and skills of happiness. And the great thing about happiness is it can be learned. Now, why is this important? Well, people who practice the skills of happiness experience increased well-being. They live longer, healthier lives, experience improved sleep quality, have stronger relationships, increased school and work performance, and also deal with lower levels of depression and anxiety. And what is positive psychology? Well, according to Dr. Siegelman, positive psychology is the scientific study of human strengths and virtues, the study of what constitutes the pleasant life, the engaged life, and the meaningful life. And according to Dr. Gable, positive psychology is the study of the conditions and processes that contribute to the flourishing or optimal functioning of people, groups, and institutions. So to kind of intro positive psychology, we're going to start with PERMA Plus, which is the theory of well-being. It's a simple yet powerful model that helps us understand how we can lead happier, more fulfilling lives. PERMA Plus, as you can see there, stands for positive emotion, engagement, relationships, mattering or meaning, and accomplishment. The additional little plus there is just there to represent another important element of physical health.
Thank you, Taylor. First off, I'm going to touch on the P for the PERMA theory, and that is positive emotions. So according to the PERMA Plus theory, it says that increasing our experience with positive emotions can support our overall well-being. These positive emotions can be met and expressed in many different ways, such as gratitude, mindfulness, and optimism. And while, yes, there's a heavy focus on positive emotions because we are talking about happiness and positive psychology, we also cannot ignore that, we are human and there are times where we will have negative emotions, maybe emotions such as grief or frustration. Those are very normal emotions for us to have, and they do have their place in our day to day. But the PERMA theory indicates that with an increase in our positive emotions does come an increase in our well-being. So what is it about positive emotions that can help move us towards an increase in our well-being? We're gonna touch a little bit if we go forwards. We're gonna touch a little bit about some research by Dr. Barbara Fredrickson. She's done extensive research on the impact of positive emotions, and she has found that positivity opens us. The first core truth about positive emotions is that they open our hearts and our minds, making us more receptive and more creative. Um, Through her work, Dr. Fredrickson has developed the broaden and build theory, and her theory suggests that through positive emotions, we broaden our awareness and mindset, and that encourages us to build resources, long-term resources for ourselves, and that can be physical, intellectual, social, or psychological resources that in the end lead us to better health and well-being. It kind of just suggests that by cultivating our positive emotions, we create, in essence, like an upward spiral for ourselves, where broadened thinking leads to resources that facilitate even more positive emotions in the future. So, taking the information from the research on the broaden and build theory, it was learned that many things happen when we experience positive emotions and moments. Not only do we open our minds, but we also can protect our bodies. So, through opening our minds, positive emotions can lead to an increase in our creative thinking, expanding our visual field, or changing our perspective on situations, promoting diversity and inclusion, and prevention of depression and anxiety. When it comes to protecting our bodies, a theory that Dr. Fredrickson found was the undoing effect, and that is the positive emotions can reverse the lingering effects of negative emotions, kind of like high blood pressure or stress. Therefore, our positive emotions can lead to an improvement in our cardiac functioning, an increase in healthy sleep, and a boost in our immune function. Next, in our PermaPlus theory, we have our E, and that stands for our engagement. This refers to being deeply involved in the activities that you love or the things that bring you joy, and they kind of make you feel like you've lost track of time. That feeling is actually what psychologists call our flow state. So engaging in those hobbies, work, or creative pursuits that truly absorb you and can lead to greater satisfaction and an increase in our sense of well-being. So if you kind of just take a second to think about those things that kind of help you get into that flow state. For me personally, it would definitely be spending time outdoors, maybe coloring or going for a run. But again, that's different for each and every person, and it might be different for your personal or your professional. It can look very different for everyone.
And so the next one here is R for relationships. So these are meaningful connections uh, with others, and that's one of the biggest contributors to our happiness. We are all social creatures, so healthy, supportive relationships with our family, friends, and the people we serve give us a greater sense of belonging and it helps increase our well-being. Uh, Best way to summarize it, other people matter. Well-being is not just about ourselves, but about how we interact with others as well. The M is for mattering. It could also be meaning. They're kind of the same thing. This is about finding purpose in what you do, whether it's through your work, spirituality, or volunteering. When we feel that our lives have meaning, we experience a deeper sense of connection and an increase in our well-being. So reflect for a moment on what things for you bring you purpose and what are ways that you could increase that to magnify that feeling. Then the A is for accomplishment, um, kind of the last uh, element here proposed by Dr. Siegelman. Accomplishment is the feeling that one gets when they have done something well or mastered a new skill. Research has found that even a minor accomplishment can lead to an increase in positive emotions and also increased motivation, all of which are really important for your well-being.
Finally, in our theory, we have that plus, and the plus in the pyramid theory stands for health. And that is that nutrition, movement, and sleep fuel our body and minds and help us pursue each of those other elements within the PERMA theory. And that being in the end, enhancing our overall well-being. This health, the little plus can serve as a connection between the mind and the body. With that, it touched on the three pillars of health. First, we have the nutrition, and that, is everything that we fuel our body with, from it could be the food you eat to the amount of water you drink in a day. Next, we have our sleep. Everyone needs our sleep. It looks a little different. Maybe what time you go to bed versus what time, your friend goes to bed, but everyone does need their sleep. And lastly, our movement. That's getting out and about, moving your body. Maybe it's going for a walk, doing some yoga, or going swimming. But all of these three pillars are intertwined and they're very fundamental in supporting our overall physical health, in turn, increasing our well-being. So to kind of recap the PERMA Plus theory of well-being, first we had our P for positive emotions, and that's experiencing and striving to feel a variety of positive emotions. We had our E for engagement, and that would be having interests and pursuits that captivate us and lead to regular experiences of flow. We have R for relationships, and those are our connections with others, building a stronger environment in which you and others can flourish. We have M for mattering and meaning, and that's creating a purpose, passion, and fulfillment by connecting to and serving something larger than yourself. We have A for accomplishment, and that's to pursue and bigger and better goals and to push yourself to reach new boundaries. And then we have our plus for health, so that's engaging in those three pillars of physical health with intention. So your sleep, your nutrition, and your movement.
So the next piece we're going to talk about here is character strengths. Um, So when we shine the light on what is right with you, your students and colleagues. So the character strengths, there are 24 different character strengths. I'm not going to go through and read all of these, but you can see them on the screen here. Um, One of the cool things with these character strengths and how we use them is through the VIA. It stands for values and actions. Really, they just kind of go by VIA. And on viacharacter.org, there is a assessment tool where you can take the assessment yourself, and it'll kind of show you what your top strengths are. Um, this tool has also been adapted to be utilized to assist younger individuals who want to take it. There's different translations available, and even assistance in a way to take it for those who are nonverbal as well. So the benefits of character strengths, recognizing them, knowing them, paying attention to them, is when we use our character strengths, it improves our mental, physical, and social health, provides us with a boost. Um, we become more effective, whether it's work, home, play, wherever, helps improve your relationships. Um, Kind of gives us a better leg to stand on, especially when it comes to building psychological resilience. So, one of the things with proof positive, besides just all the science behind the positive psychology, is they've broken down a lot of it into individual skills. So at the beginning here, we said happiness is something that can be learned through the skills that they teach are the different ways that we can learn it. So the first one we're going to go over is strength spotting. So strength spotting is when you notice someone utilizing one of their character strengths, is you name it and you describe it. You say that out loud. What that does is that kind of rewrites how we're looking at different situations. Um, Rather than looking at the negative in a situation, if I practice strength spotting with one of my coworkers and I identify a strength that they're exhibiting, that completely changes my whole mind frame and how I'm going into that conversation. Benefits to this, again, the increased happiness and overall well-being. Everyone likes being complimented. So having someone point out a strength that you just exhibited feels good. It also feels good to be able to do that and recognize that in someone else. Helps with higher work satisfaction and positive association with the work. Again, it helps improve relationships and less stress and reduced anxiety. One of the ways at Balance Autism that we use strength spotting here in the office is when we have our meetings. Um, there's a lot of tense situations that can happen, things that need to be addressed and handled. And starting with a bit of strength spotting typically helps everyone remember that we're all here for the same reason. We're all here to support the individuals we serve. Being able to strength spot helps us to better utilize our strengths when it comes to achieving our common goal. This is something that we've also used with our person served clients, the individuals we help. Addressing deficits at a annual meeting is important, but it is a major mindset shift to also spend some of that time in that annual review going through what an individual's strengths are. Too often we solely focus just on the deficits, which again, those are important, and the purpose of services is to help address some of those deficits. But what would happen if in all of your meetings, in addition to talking about the deficits, we also talked about the positives? What are the strengths they have? How does that frame then how you approach addressing the deficits through programming? Knowing what the strengths are can assist with all of that.
The next skill that we utilize here at Balance Autism that Proof Positive has definitely taught us is jolts of joy. Jolts of joy teaches us to intentionally experience higher levels of well-being and bursts of positive emotions across our day. So our jolts of joy are intended as kind of a personalized scenario of the thing that you can lean on to access your positive emotions. This could look like maybe listening to your favorite song after having a hard conversation, going for a walk after a long day of meetings, or maybe it's having your favorite dessert after completing your to-do list for the day. It could also be really simple. It could maybe be taking a look at your family photos on your phone or a silly video of your dog. It could be calling your mom or a sibling to say hi. Our jolts of joy are things that we can lean on to just intentionally engage those positive emotions that we already have inside, but kind of just get those happy juices flowing. Because we know that through experiencing our positive emotions, it can lead to well-being. Here at Balance Autism, we utilize Jolts of Joy, both in our office as well as with our person served. I'm going to share a little bit specifically to how we utilize it in our supportive employment department. We utilize Jolts of Joy in both our job development and our job coaching services. Specifically, some of our Jolts of Joy that we'll do. When someone gets an interview and we're on our way to, that job interview that someone's really excited for, sometimes we can have a wave of emotions from excitement to nerves. So maybe we'll listen to our favorite song. We'll, stop and get a drink from our favorite restaurant, things like that. Just a little thing to do a little pick me up and get ourselves happy, and feeling like our best selves before we go into our interview. On a day like today, if we are out job coaching, so out at a job site with an individual, we may suggest that maybe instead of taking our break in the break room, we take our 15-minute break and we go sit outside because we know that spending time outside is something that makes the individual we're working with happy. So it can like I said, it's a personalized way for you to kind of touch base on the things that bring you joy. Another skill that we have learned and utilize a lot is what went well, and that is the act of training your brain to mindfully notice, remember, and track good things that happen each day. So sometimes people are already doing this skill before they even realize what they're doing. But some people have gratitude journals or just journals in general. But in essence, a what went well can look many different ways. It could be a verbal recognition, a written, or even a visual, like a photo. And we're just taking that intentional time to reflect back on the good things that have happened within our day. Within our supportive employment team, we utilize what went well, again, both in job development and job coaching. Um, we will use what went well as kind of an opening question when we are leaving maybe an interview or even just ending our shift for the day. That allows us to reflect back on the positives, and keep our positive emotions rolling after we get done with an interview or a shift. But it also allows us to then kind of use it as a jolt of joy before, we go into that next shift, maybe a couple days later. We can circle back on the what went well the day before, to remind ourselves of the positive emotions that we felt the last time we were at work or the last time we stepped into an interview. So like I said, a what went well can look many different ways, but it's really taking that time to intentionally remind yourself of the good things that are going on in your day to day.
Kind of the last skill we'll go over today, and this is not extensive of all the skills, but we'll go over the additional resources later. But last one here will be the Perma Plus snapshot, which is a way to actually measure well-being. So it provides a structure to help you track how well you're doing and feeling across each element of Permo Plus. Just as you might track your blood pressure or your weight, the snapshot tool lets you quickly check in on your unique well-being status. So this tool allows you to reflect and track which areas you're excelling in, and which areas maybe need a little bit more attention. Because being able to do that and know kind of helps guide what you address and what you prioritize. So anyone can take the PermaPlus snapshot. They can do it through Proof Positive's website or by scanning that QR code up there in the corner. This is something that we use on a weekly basis here at Balance Autism, specifically in our Smart Living department. Individuals in our Smart Living program are all receiving remote supports. So through the use of technology, one of the individuals here at Balance Autism has actually created this snapshot within a digital format so that it can be sent through the screens to our person served for them to be able to fill this out on their own, where there's a benefit to having this information and where it helps us provide a higher quality of service to these individuals, is that our remote support professionals can now see what the scores are for the individuals, and they can use that to tailor their conversation with the individuals when they reach out for contact. One of our individuals marked that R was low, relationships. Then our staff can be reaching out to them saying, "Hey, I noticed you marked R pretty low today. What's going on with that? Is there a specific relationship you're thinking of?" Next thing you know, they're having an actual conversation addressing that individual's well-being. Whereas previously, without this tool, calls were a lot of, "Hey, how are things going?" "Fine, good, okay, you don't need help." So being targeted in how we use this to be able to foster actual conversations that help promote individual well-being. So one thing with this, Proof Positive has what they call their Autism Wellbeing Alliance. So one thing I'm going to encourage everyone here in the meeting today to do is to go to their website, join the Alliance. Again, there's that QR code there that can take you to it. Why should you join the Alliance? It's going to unlock a lot of benefits for you joining the Alliance. You're going to get resources, newsletters, invites to Alliance only quarterly meetings where new topics in positive psychology and well-being are discussed. It's just going to open a lot of information and the amount of resources that you'll have access to. So strongly encourage you, please join the Alliance. Also on Proof Positive's website, they do have their science page. So for those of you who really like to know what's the science behind this, we're talking about happiness and well-being. It's all butterflies and giggles. What's the science behind it? Well, on their website, they have all the science and research behind what they're doing, all there for you to observe and go through for yourself. And then lastly, one call out I want to make with their website as well is their skill center. All the skills that they train and offer are available on their website. Everything from their website is free, so there's no charge to join the Alliance, no charge to download any of the resources that they have to offer. Again, it's all free because they just really want to make sure that people have access to this because of how awesome it is. And so for each of the skills on their website, they do kind of break it down into 4 sections. There'll be a section that'll kind of, they just title it Learn. You go through and you learn the skill. Another section called Practice, where like it's insinuating. You're going to go through and you're going to practice that skill. Then the third one is teach. And that's where it's going to give you the resources and tools. Okay, I learned this, I practiced it. Now, how do I teach it to others? So if you want to take it back, use it for your organization, or you want to teach it to your friends, it's going to give you the tools to be able to do that. And then the final section is spread. Again, how do we spread this? How do we impact more people addressing their well-being? That is it. We were pretty fast with this, so any questions that anyone has?
And like I said, you could put your questions in the Q&A, or you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Um, we've got plenty of time, so you must have answered everything really well, you
Oh,
guys.
I was going to throw something out there.
Go
I'm
ahead.
Jill. I'm also with Balance Autism, and we're doing this on our site as well, and have somebody guiding us through this. Um, it is really very effective, and it's very cool to see changes and how interactions can change when you're focused on some of these pieces. So. Just wanted to join you guys today, and Taylor and Hannah, you did great. And yes, it is. It's powerful.
Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Jill.
Any other questions today? Let everybody know that we will be emailing out the recording as well as any of the resources that Hannah and Taylor can share with us out to all of the registrants for today. And you can always reach out to us if you have questions, and we can get in contact with Taylor or Hannah. Or you guys' information in the PowerPoint at all? Or
No, but we can include it.
yeah, perfect, perfect. Make sure that we have contacts for people if anybody has any questions. But I think we can end early today if there aren't any additional questions. Let everybody get back to their lunch.